My fiancé Syed. Add me to the house deed, or I'll cancel the wedding. I smiled, said of course, and quietly checked the facts, then sent a special invite to her lawyer friend. At the bridal party, he arrived, as her boyfriend. The room fell silent as I stood at the microphone glass, in hand the engagement party buzzing just moments before. Everyone, family, friends, her smug parents, stared at me expecting the usual toast. Brianna beamed beside me, her diamond ring catching the light, thinking this was her night. I smiled faintly. Brianna deserves the world, I began. So tonight I've got a special gift for her future. The projector hummed to life behind us. The first slide hit the screen, her tangled in sheets with Trevor time-stamped 2 weeks ago. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Brianna's face drained of color. I leaned into the mic, voice steady as steel. And this is their plot to seize my house. The next slide forged documents, her signature twisting my deed into theirs. Her father's jaw dropped. Trevor choked on his champagne. I just watched it all unfold, the paradox hitting home. She'd planned to steal everything, but tonight she lost it all first. That was the moment everything shattered. But let's rewind, because to understand the full weight of that projector beam cutting through the room like a verdict, you have to know how we got there. How a house I built brick by brick became the prize in a game I didn't even know we were playing. My name's Julian, 34, software engineer, the kind who spends weekends debugging code instead of chasing sunsets. I met Brianna 2 years ago at a tech conference mixer. She was the marketing rep for a rival firm, all sharp suits and sharper smiles, networking like it was an Olympic sport. I was there for the panels nursing a flat beer when she slid onto the stool next to me. You look like you actually read the white papers, she said, clinking her glass against mine. I laughed. It was easy. She made it easy. We clicked fast. Dinners turned into weekends away. She talked big about climbing the corporate ladder, how she deserved the corner office after all the late nights. I nodded, shared stories from my own grind coding marathons that left me bleary-eyed, but buzzing with that quiet satisfaction of solving a puzzle no one else could. She called me her rock. Steady, reliable, the guy who remembered anniversaries without a calendar ping. But looking back, there were cracks from the start. Subtle ones like hairline fractures in glass. You only notice when the light hits just right. Brianna grew up in a world of polished surfaces, private schools, country club brunches, her dad Raymond footing the bill for every whim. He's a real estate developer, the type who closes deals over 18-hole rounds and boasts about his portfolio like it's a family heirloom. She idolized that life. Me, I came from a split level in the suburbs, parents who clipped coupons and taught me value wasn't in the price tag but in what lasted. Our first red flag waved about 6 months in. We just moved in together, my place a modest 3-bedroom I'd bought 5 years back, with a down payment scraped from freelance gigs and overtime. Nothing flashy, but it was mine. Solid oak floors, a backyard deck I built myself. She walked in one evening, arms full of takeout from that overpriced fusion spot downtown, and eyed the kitchen like it was a crime scene. This counter's granite right feels like laminate, I chuckled, thinking she was joking. It's quartz. Durable. She set the bags down, traced a finger along the edge. Cute, but imagine marble? Or that waterfall island everyone's doing. Her tone wasn't teasing, it was appraising, like she was already mentally flipping the space for resale. I brushed it off. Love makes you do that. But then came the gifts. Not the sweet, thoughtful kind, a book on algorithms because she knew I geeking out over neural networks. No, hers were statements. A watch that cost more than my monthly mortgage. Designer heels she'd accidentally leave in my closet, hinting at events I should take her to. It's nothing, she'd say when I questioned the tags, just perks from work. But her eyes would linger on my wrist, empty of anything but my battered Timex, and I'd feel that twist in my gut, like I was the project, not the partner. Fast forward to the engagement. I'd proposed on a hike, simple sunset over the ridge ring in my pocket for weeks until the moment felt right. No flash mob, no drone footage, just us breathless from the climb, her yes echoing off the rocks. She cried. I did too. But 2 weeks later, over coffee in my living room, she dropped the prenup bomb. We were flipping through wedding mags, her circling venues like a general plotting maneuvers. Then she sets her mug down, all business. Julian, about the house. I look up, fork midway to my mouth from the Danish I'd grabbed. What about it? She leans forward, elbows on the table, that calculated smile she saves for negotiation. I want it added to my name before the wedding. You know, to show trust. Real commitment. I set the fork down, slow. The deed, Brianna, it's my asset. We've talked prenup to protect both sides. Her laugh tinkled like wind chimes in a stormlight, but off-key. Prenup, that's so cold. Like you're planning for failure. This is about us building together. Besides, if something happens, you'd want me secure, right? You're rockin' all. I stared at her, the words hanging like smoke. Secure. That's what she called staking claim to the one thing I'd built without a safety net. My folks had passed it down in spirit, if not in bricks. Dad's lessons on compound interest, Mom's thrift store hacks turned into home improvements. This house wasn't just equity, it was proof I could stand on my own. Let me think on it, I said finally, voice even. She pouted, but playful. Don't overthink, babe. It's romantic. Romantic, yeah. That night alone in the garage, tinkering with an old router, my therapy for tangled thoughts, I replayed it. The red flags weren't waving anymore. They were billboards. Remember her girls' trip last summer? The one where her phone stayed silent for days. Stories popping up from beaches I couldn't place. Or the way she'd grill me on my 401k balance over dinner, eyes glazing if I talked code, but lighting up at vested. And Trevor. God, Trevor. Her old college buddy, the lawyer who always seemed to tag along to brunches, his hand lingering a beat too long on her shoulder. He's like family, she'd insist. Family that texts at 2 a.m. I didn't sleep much after that. Instead, I pulled up the deed online public record easy enough, saw my name solo clear title. Then, on a whim, I searched property fraud cases, stories flooded in fiancés coerced into joint ownership, then divorce filings with irreconcilable differences and sudden liquidity needs. One guy lost his cabin to a scheme just like this, add to deed claim, half in settlement, sell off while he lawyered up. The stats hit hard. Over 60% of second marriages end in divorce, and blended assets, a minefield without safeguard. By morning, resolve settled in like dew. I wouldn't accuse. Not yet. Accusations without proof are just noise. But trust, that was fracturing fast. Brianna breezed in for breakfast, humming some pop tune, oblivious. Morning, future hubby. Decided yet. I poured her coffee, black, 2 sugars, just how she liked. Still mulling. She rolled her eyes, affectionate. You're such an engineer. Always calculating. If only she knew. The weeks blurred into wedding prep. Venues booked invites out. Her parents, Raymond and Elaine, flew in for fittings, him barking orders at the tailor like it was a boardroom. Fit matters, he'd grunt, eyeing my off-rack suit. Brianna lapped it up, whispering later. Dad's excited. He even offered to co-sign the rehearsal dinner tab. Co-sign, like we were extensions of his ledger. I smiled through it, but inside the math didn't add. Why push the deed now, months out? Why not wait? Let the prenup cover it clean. Another flag fluttered, the accidental leak of our save the dates to her social circle. Photos of the ring my grandmother's resized, captioned with hints at our forever home. Comments poured in, that kitchen reno is goals, but we hadn't discussed renos. Not one. It felt staged, like she was already selling the narrative. To whom, her followers or something stickier? I started documenting, quietly, screenshots of texts, timestamps on those late-night pings from Trevor, bank statements cross-checked against her work perks. Nothing screamed yet, but the pattern whispered, and in the quiet hours, coding lines that fixed themselves in loops. I realized love isn't blind, it's selective. I'd chosen to ignore the glitches. Time to debug. Brianna sensed the shift, though. Over a forced movie night, her pick some rom-com about soulmates and second chances, she curled into me, head on my shoulder. You're distant lately. Everything okay? I stroked her hair, automatic. Just work. Big release coming up. Lie, but saw. She sighed, dramatic. We need this wedding to reset us. You, me, that house, our foundation. Foundation. The word twisted. Foundations hold weight. They don't shift under pressure. As the engagement party loomed, her idea black tie at the country club, I locked in my plan. No more mulling. The surprise she'd been teasing, it was mine now. But first proof, real, irrefutable. Because in code or in life assumptions crash the system. And I wasn't crashing. Not without a full stack trace. Little did she know the real party was just getting started. That night, after her prenup, dodge and deed demand hung in the air like a bad commit to the main branch. I didn't snap. Didn't raise my voice or slam doors. I just nodded, sipped my coffee, and said, let me think about it. She smiled, thinking she'd won the round. But in my head, the algorithm was already running. Inputs, her words, the red flags, the Trevor texts. Outputs, clarity or catastrophe. See, that's the thing about being wired for logic. You don't debug in the heat. You step back, isolate variables. Brianna thrived on reaction. Pushback fed her drama, made her the victim in her own script. So I gave her nothing. Silence as strategy. A pause that let her fill the void with her own assumption. And in that space, I started mapping the code. By dawn, I'd outlined it. Step 1, verify the asset. I called my realtor contact, old college buddy, owed me a favor from that app I built for his listing. Appraise the house quiet-like, I told him. Market value comps in the neighborhood. He texted back within hours. 280,000 clean comps, no lien, solid. But why now? Why her name on the title before vow? Step 2, the flags. I pulled every thread. Her phone left charging on the counter unlocked because Trust Right scrolled the messages. Trevor. Can't wait for the weekend. That place is perfect for us. Attached a screenshot of my house listing circled in red. Heart emoji from her. Then emails. To him, CC'd a dummy account. Phase 1, deed transfer. Dad's guy handles the paperwork. Once married, we file irreconcilable. Half equity split the sale. "You're cut for the consult." My stomach didn't drop. It hardened. This wasn't impulse. It was architecture. Her climbing the ladder straight to my foundation. But proof wasn't screenshot. Courts laughed at those without chain of custody. I needed ironclad, so pause. Deep breath. Then I picked up the phone. Pause 1 second here, let it sink. I called a private investigator. Not some gumshoe from the yellow pages recommended by a forum thread on asset protection ex-cop turned digital sleuth. "Julian Hale," I said when he answered. "Need discretion on a potential fraud? Fiancée house deed, possible affair tie-in." He quoted flat rate 3,000 upfront weekly updates. I wired it from my savings, no hesitation. "Timeline?" he asked. "Engagement parties in 3 weeks. Wrap by then." He moved fast. Day 3 first report tale on Brianna. Coffee runs with Trevor, not old buddy, casual stolen kisses in his BMW parked 2 blocks from my house. Photos, time-stamped, geotagged. Hotel receipts cross-reference to her late client meetings. 6 overnights in 2 months. Day 7, the legal angle. He dug into her emails, subpoena-free public trails, and dark web leaks from a firm breach. Draft prenup from Trevor's office, buried in her cloud clauses, gutting my protections addendums for joint property that screamed forced sale. And the kicker, her father's involvement. Raymond's development firm emails flagged, "Co-sign the transfer, son-in-law's naive. Flip it quick, our portfolio needs the liquidity." I read it at my desk screen, glow the only light. No rage, just calculation. Cost of wedding, 12,000 so far. Her dress alone, 4 grand. My house the real stake. If they pulled it, I'd lose half to marital assets, even with a prenup fight. Stats from that same forum, 70% success rate for these schemes in no-fault states. But I wasn't playing their game. That's when it hit me, the real power move. Not confrontation, not walking away cold, but controlled demolition. Let them build the trap, then spring it on their stage. The engagement party, her parents footing the bill, 200 guests, her spotlight. Perfect. But first, the module of it all. You know that feeling when someone's unraveling your life thread by thread, and your instinct screams to yank back, to yell, to fight fire with fire. Most guys do. We bottle it, or we explode. But here's the art I learned in those quiet hours, the silent exit. Not running, not ghosting, but a deliberate fade, a shadow play, where you let their chaos echo in the empty space you leave. It's counterintuitive, right? Society sells us the hero's roar, the big breakup scene, the viral rant. But true strength, it's in the void you create. Psychologists call it gray rock. Become uninteresting, unresponsive, a mirror reflecting their nonsense back at them. No fuel for their fire. They amp up, reveal more, trip over their own lies. And you're gathering intel, building your case unseen. In relationships like this, where one's a chess player and the other's the board, silence isn't weakness. It's the check before mate. It empowers the quiet strategist, the guy who knows words are cheap, but evidence, that's currency. Brianna pushed. I mirrored calm. She texted, "Babe, deed talk, we're good, right?" I replied, thinking it over. Busy week, short, neutral. She escalated calls at lunch, tears at dinner. "You're shutting me out." I'd hug her, say, "Just stressed. Love you." Lies but tactical. Each plea more data points for the PI. By week 2, his full dossier landed. Encrypted zip, 200 pages. Affair timeline started, pre-engagement hotel cams if needed. Financials, her credit dips tied to Trevor's loan. Repayments from a joint shadow account. Legal blueprint template, fraud docs, her signature practiced on dummies. And the twist, Raymond knew. Not just co-signing, he was the architect. Daughter's future secured, 1 email read. Hale's a mark, steady job, no family net. I closed the file, heart steady, not broken, reinforced. This wasn't personal anymore. It was procedural. I'd protect what was mine, not with fists or fury, but with facts. The party loomed. Invites out, her glowing on socials. "Can't wait to celebrate our forever." Comments from her circle, "That house, Reno pick goals, lies layered on lies." I mirrored back one last time. Over pasta, her favorite, I cooked, she probed. "Julian, the deed. It's important." I set my fork down. "I've been appraising options." Her eyes lit, hooked. "Like what?" Pause, smile. "Trust me." Big surprise at the party. She squealed, kissed me. "You're the best, if only." In the days left, I prepped the payload. PI's tech guy mocked up the slideshow, clean timeline sync. Audio clips, her voice to Trevor. After the wedding, we forced the split. House sells, we're set. Forgery scans highlighted. Legal consult pro bono from a divorce forum mod, public airing risky. But if it's fraud exposure shields you, no slander if true. Cost me another grand in edits, worth every cent, because this wasn't revenge, it was revelation. Their plot laid bare in pixels and sound bites. Poetic, really steal in shadows, get spotlit. As the party eve hit, I packed a go bag, not fleeing, just forward. Suit pressed, speech memorized. Brianna buzzed around, diamond flashing. "Tomorrow's our night," I nodded. "Yeah, it is. But whose night?" That's what she'd learn, and soon. With the dossier burning a hole in my encrypted drive, I didn't let on. Not a flicker. Brianna ramped up her game, thinking the clock was on my side. But time That was my compiler, churning evidence into executable truth. The morning after the PI's drop, she cornered me in the kitchen, coffee brewing her in that silk robe I'd bought, ironic now a prop in her performance. Julian the deed. We've got the party this weekend. It's perfect timing, show everyone we're solid. Her voice dripped honey over nails, eyes wide like a puppy denied a walk. I stirred my mug, black, no distraction. Soon, babe, trust the process. She huffed, crossing her arms. Process, this is us. Not your code. I smiled faint. Exactly. Building something lasting. She bought it for a day. Then the texts started. Ping after ping, my phone, a battlefield of emojis and exclamation point. Babe, think about our future. Then escalation. Why drag this, dad's asking. Attached a screenshot of her and Raymond at brunch, him mid-laugh, caption, family goals, family. Right. I mirrored, calm. Working on it. Big reveal soon. Dry as dust. But she latched on. Reveal like what? Pause for effect. You'll love it. Party night. She fired back, thumbs up, hearts exploding. Victory in her ledger. But patience frayed fast. That evening dinner at her Pick Steakhouse, overpriced cuts to match her mood. She poked at her fillet eyes on me like a debugger hunting bugs. Trevor's handling some papers for us, just in case. Trevor. The name landed like a syntax error, casual but coded. I speared a bite, chewed slow. Smart, covering bases. Her fork clattered. Exactly, so the deed, it's base one. Lean in voice, dropping to that conspiratorial whisper she thought sealed deals. Imagine us joint owners. No ifs. I nodded, thoughtful. Makes sense on paper. Her smile bloomed triumphant. But inside the logs stacked Trevor's paper, matching the dossier drafts. Forged addendums, her sig looped like a signature font. Poetic, almost using his expertise to blueprint my loss. She pushed harder that week. Mornings guilt trips over breakfast. You know I love you, right? This proves it. Afternoons voicemails breathy and edged. Miss you. Deed chat tonight. Evenings the full arsenal. Cuddles turning interrogations, her head on my chest like a lie detector. What's holding you back? Fear or... Trail off, eyes misty. Manipulation 101, make the mark question himself. I played along. Hugs returned, kisses planted. It's not fear, it's rightness. Then the hook, party's the milestone, trust me. She melted every time. But the chasm widened. Her texts grew demanding. Deed by Friday, dad's flying in. Bold now, caps lock creeping. I replied sparse, soon. Surprise incoming. The smugness peaked midweek. Call from her at lunch, my break her spontaneous. Raymond wants to toast the house at the party. Our house. Lilt in her voice like she'd already renovated in her head. Marble counters, no doubt. I leaned back in my chair office, hum fading. Bold move, she laughed tinkly. Romantic Trevor's drafting the transfer. Quick sign done. Trevor again. The thread pulled taut. I pictured the dossier, his emails to her, phase 2 post-vows leverage. Hale folds under pressure. Leverage. That's what she called love. Sounds efficient, I said even, but hold for the reveal. Click. She hung up fuming, I heard the sigh. That night, storm brewing outside, she arrived home wired. Door slam, heels clicking like accusations. Julian. Living room, me on the couch with a book divorce law primer disguised as thriller. She paced, phone in hand. Trevor says delays look suspicious. Like you don't trust me. Tears welled on cue. The classic pivot from demand to damsel. I set the book down, stood slow. Brianna pulled her close, her body stiff, then yielding. I trust us. This surprise, it's bigger than papers. Whispered it, breath on her neck. She softened, sniffling. Promise, cross my heart. Lie, but laced with just enough truth to stick. We made up in bed, routine mechanical on my end. Her size, performative, mind calculated. Post-glow, she traced my arm. You're my rock, you know, steady. Steady, the word she'd weaponized. I murmured agreement, mind elsewhere, party RSVPs at 200 projector-rented slides queue. Her impatience boiled over Friday. Brunch with her crew girls, table mimosas flowing. She texted me the play-by-play, telling them about the house. They're jealous. Then a photo, her group toasting future Mrs. Hale's pad. My equity, their punchline. Reply, can't wait to share. But the subtext screamed, her circle primed for the flip. Dossier flagged it, her bestie Elaine's niece looped in on the plan. Loose lips, social media syncs. Evening hit crisis. She burst in dress for the rehearsal, half on zipper snagged. Dad called. He's wiring funds for the Reno, but needs the deed first. Funds. Bait. Raymond's liquidity play per the emails. Bait, with cash, hooked the title. I zipped her up, hands steady. Perfect timing. She spun eyes, searching mine. You mean it? Nod. Party tomorrow. All falls into place. Her hug crushed victorious. I love you, echoed hollow. Alone after she crashed, I synced the audio, her voice to Trevor. He's cracking. Deed by vows, then we bolt. Clipped clean, timestamp. The drone of tension hummed in my chest. Not fear fuel, her smugness, the accelerant. Saturday dawned, rehearsal day. Country club, polished tents, up florals, obscene. She flitted queen bee corralling vendors. Julian the toast, keep it short, sweet. Sweet. I chuckled inwardly. Got it. Special. Trevor slunk in late excuse traffic. Handshake, firm eyes darting. Papers ready, he murmured low. I clapped his shoulder. Soon, buddy. His grin faltered. Good. Brianna pulled me aside, breathless. Everything's set. Dad's beaming, says the house seals it. Seals it. Like a tomb. I kissed her forehead. It will. As guests trickled her side, flashy mind sparse but solid, the air thickened. Synth hum in my mind, low and insistent. Her demands peaked in whispers. Sign tonight after, I demurred. Tomorrow's the day. She pouted, but the party's glow masked it. Toasts clinked, laughs rose. Raymond boomed. To the happy couple and their home, cheers. My turn next, no save it. Night fell her asleep beside me, phone buzzing anonymous alerts. I checked PI update. All clear. Backup drive en route. Locked and loaded. Tomorrow the stage. Her empire of illusions, my spotlight of facts. But whose illusion cracks first? She'd push one last time, and I'd let her right into the reveal. The country club gleamed under chandeliers, like stars in a bad dream. Crystal glasses, clinking laughter, echoing off marble floors. 200 guests in tuxes and gowns, swirling like confetti in a trap. Her trap, or so she thought. Raymond had spared no expense, open bar flowing vintage Scotch caterers in crisp whites, ferrying trays of foie gras and caviar blini. Brianna held court near the dance floor, her gown a cascade of silver silk that screamed mine, arm looped through Trevor's like he was arm candy, not the co-conspirator. He nodded along to her chatter, his tie too tight eyes flicking to the exits. I stood at the edge, nursing a club soda suit tailored just enough to blend. No bourbon tonight. Clear head for the close. Guests milled her sorority sisters, air-kissing cheeks, my few work buddies clustered by the golf simulators, awkward in this sea of old money. Elaine, her mom, airbrushed perfection in pearls, cornered me with a flute of champagne. Julian, darling, the toast, make it heartfelt. Heartfelt, I smiled. It will be. The MC, a club regular with a mic voice like velvet, wrapped the stemware. And now a few words from the groom-to-be. Applause rippled. Brianna's eyes locked on mine, sparkling with that possessive glow. She mouthed, "Love you," hand fluttering to her neckline. Trevor clapped, slow smirk playing like he owned the punchline. I stepped up, mic cool, in my palm projector remote, tucked in my pocket like a loaded clip. The room hushed, spotlights warm on my face. "Brianna," I started, voice steady, letting it carry like a lullaby. From that conference mixer 2 years back, your laugh cutting through the small talk. To this night you've been my spark, the one who pushed me to dream bigger, to build not just code, but a life. Murmurs of awes. Her cheeks flushed, eyes misty. Raymond beamed from the head table, fist pumping subtle approval. And tonight, with all our loved ones here, I want to honor that. Show the world what we're starting. Pause. The air thickened, expectant. Guests leaned in, phones half raised for the clip. A dramatic pause, 2 seconds, let the swell build. Then click. The projector whirred alive behind the sweetheart table beam, slicing the dim like a judge's gavel. First slide us at the proposal sunset hike, her yes frozen in joy. Sighs, safe, then fade. Next, her in that red dress from the girls' trip, not on a beach, but tangled in Trevor's sheets, his loft timestamp glowing 3 months ago. Gasps punched the room. A fork clattered. Brianna's hand flew to her mouth. "Julian," whisper, hiss. But the mic caught it, amplifying her crack. I didn't flinch. Voice dropped colder, decisive as delete key on a virus. But dreams built on lies, they crash hard. Click. Slide to text chain her to him. Deeds almost his. Post vows we flip it. You're cut 50 grand. The room erupted murmurs to outright hisses. Elaine's flute shattered on porcelain. Trevor bolted upright chair, scraping like nails. "This is bullshit!" But his face, ashen eyes, darting to Raymond, who sat frozen knuckles white on his napkin. Click. Audio cue. Her voice filled the speakers, tinny but unmistakable. "After the wedding forced the split. House sells, we're set. Dad's in for the Reno bait." Laughter from her side died mid-breath. A sorority girl clutched her date's arm. "Is that—" Brianna lunged for the mic cord, but I sidestepped calm. "And this folks their blueprint to gut my home. Forged transfers affair, alibis the works." Final slide, the dossier highlights emails from Raymond's firm, Hales naive. "Secure the asset." His face purpled, sputtering. "Son, this is a mistake." "No, son. Raymond, your emails say different." Co-signing fraud, bold for a developer. The crowd parted, phones now fully out, capturing every pixel of panic. Her circle, those brunch toasters, edged away, whispers slicing sharper than the slides. That's when the real twist landed. Not just exposure, but the poetry of it. See, in our digital age, parties like this aren't just gathering. They're theaters of judgment, screens turning champagne flutes into witness stands. Psychologists dub it social media's shadow court, where one viral clip can convene a jury faster than any bench. Tonight, this ballroom instant tribunal. No robes, no gavels, just glow and glare. Guests weren't spectators anymore. They were the verdict. Brianna's empire, built on filters and facades, crumbled live. Her phone buzzed wild in her clutch, notifications piling from the club's Wi-Fi shares, stories blooming with tags, engagement fail, not jock D to drama. Trevor grabbed her arm, hissing, "We need to go," but too late. Elaine wailed, "My baby," collapsing into a chair, pearls scattering like fleeing allies. Raymond surged up, face thunder. "Turn it off. This is defamation." But the MC froze him with a glare. "Sir, evidence is evidence." My work buddy, quiet accountant type, nodded from the bar. "Julian's right. Joint deed, pre-vows, fraud, red flag. Check the statutes." Brianna spun to me, eyes wild mascara streaking like war paint in retreat. "You bastard." How voice breaking, but the mic fed it to every corner. "I loved you. Loved," past tense, self-snuffed. I leaned in close enough for her heat, but voice for the room. "Love doesn't forge signatures, Brianna, or bed lawyers for equity." Click. Last audio, her laugh to him post-proposal. He's hooked. House is ours by fall. The swell hit music cresting under the chaos strings taut as the tension. Guests surged, some to consoles, others fleeing to valets. Her father clutched his chest. Elaine dialing 911, no damage control. Trevor slunk toward the side door, but a cousin blocked him. "You snake." With her here, I stepped back, mic down. The projector looped safe, our hike photo, ironic epitaph. Brianna crumpled gown pooling like spilled mercury. "Please, fix this." Whisper, but amplified. The court of screens had ruled guilty. Sentence public. No rage from me, just the quiet click of the remote. "Lights up." "To real foundations," I said to the stunned sea. Then out. Go bag in the lot, engine humming before the sirens. But the fallout, that was just intermission. Raymond's roar echoed as I pulled away, his empire cracking too. What happens when daddy's portfolio meets a subpoena? I slipped the mic back into its stand, the clunk echoing like a period at the end of a verdict. The room hung frozen forks, mid-air champagne, forgotten eyes, darting between the projector's glow and Brianna's crumple. Raymond's face twisted, purple veins bulging like cracked asphalt. Trevor edged toward the shadows, but no one moved to stop him. Not yet. I turned suit jacket smooth over my shoulders. "To real foundation," I repeated, soft for the stragglers. Then out. Through the French doors, cool night air hitting like a reset. Valet had my keys ready. No questions, just a nod. Engine purred to life, taillights sweeping the lot as I pulled away. No look back. Code compiles forward. Phone stayed dark on the dash. 10 minutes out, first ping. My buddy from work, "Dude, epic. She's done." Then spam. Tags rolling in. "Jocker checkmate engagement." Jocker deed heist busted. Club Wi-Fi turned the ballroom into a broadcast tower. By the time I hit the highway, it was viral. 200 witnesses, half with influencers in their Rolodex. But the real karma, it didn't wait for likes. Started in the room I left. Raymond exploded first. I pictured it, him surging from his chair, napkin flung like a white flag of surrender. "This wedding's off." Boom. Voice carrying over the hush, no filter. Elaine's wail cut through, but he bulldozed. "You think I'd tie my name to this circus fraud? In my house, his house, the club, sure. But the irony, his portfolio built on clean deals now stained by his own emails on that slide. Co-signing a con, developers like him live on reputation. One whiff of scandal and lender's ghost. Brianna clawed at his sleeve. "Daddy, please!" But his glare iced her. "Save it. You dragged us into this." Dragged, like she was the solo pilot in their family jet. Guests shifted her sorority pack, once orbiting her glow, now orbiting the exits. Whispers slithered, knew she was gold digging. "Trevor's married, wait, no." Loose threads pulling her web, unraveling live. "Trevor." He bolted mid-roar, shoulder-checking a waiter. But the door's bottlenecked phones, out flashes popping like paparazzi at a perp walk. "Smile for the gram," someone jeered. His firm divorce lawyers thrive on discretion. Affair exposed in 4K clients bolt. By morning, his LinkedIn would read like a tombstone. That's the fragility of it all, the social capital she banked on. See, in circles like hers, status isn't cash in the bank. It's the nods at brunches, the follows that seal invites, the whispers that open door. Psychologists break it down simple. It's a ledger of favors and facade. You invest in alliances, curate the image, and it compounds until one bad trade tanks the portfolio. Brianna's was all leverage, no liquidity. Borrowed shine from daddy's deals, Trevor's briefs, her squad's selfies. Solid on the surface, but hollow core. Expose the rot, it cascades. Friends don't unfollow, quiet, they amplify. That brunch crew, first to post, dodged a bullet. Doctor thanks Julian. Raymond's partners, golf buddies tomorrow, turning cold shoulders. Can't back a fraud family. Her job marketing maven HR pings by 9 a.m. Social media review. One viral clip and her resume's radioactive. It's not vengeance, it's velocity. Actions echo in networks faster than sound. She gambled on silence, my silence. But silence turned strategic. It amplifies the fall. No messy fight to spin. Just facts, time-stamped, shared. Karma's not cosmic, it's connective. One node fails, the graph glitches. Back home, my home deed pristine. I poured a scotch neat. First sip burned clean. Notifications piled her texts, frantic. Julian, call me, mistake. Then voicemails. Sobs first, then rage. You'll pay for this. Pay. Like I hadn't already fronted the deposits. Raymond's line buzzed, next blocked. But the PI forwarded the transcript. Hail, you son of a... This is blackmail. Blackmail? Cute. I texted back once. Evidence? Big difference. Lawyer up. His reply, crickets. By dawn, filings would hit his firm, distancing hers, crumbling. Cops? Not yet. But fraud docs, that's federal bait. Title tampering screams, wire fraud penalties stacking like interest on a bad loan. Brianna's last stand. A barrage at 2 a.m. I can explain. Trevor meant nothing, except the 50 grand cut. I archived it all. Evidence stack growing just in case. Sun rose slow over the deck I built. Coffee black birds, indifferent. My folks would have nodded Dad's voice in my head. Build smart, son. Foundations first. This one held. But her side dawn broke different. Elaine's calls to the venue canceled non-refundable hit. Squad chats exploding, block her. Trevor ghosting his wife, oh, she'd see the tags. Divorce filing by lunch. The ledger balanced. Her debts social, legal, emotional, compounded overnight. Mine cleared. House secure, heart debugged. Months out, I'd hear the echo. But for now, the quiet win tasted best. What comes next for the record? That's their compile error to fix. 3 months slipped by like lines of code optimizing themselves. Clean, efficient, no bugs in sight. I'd traded the country club's echo for the quiet hum of my home office, the one with the view of that backyard deck I'd built solo. No more half-empty mugs from forced date nights. Just black coffee sunrise filtering through blinds and a rhythm that felt like mine again. Work ramped up. That big release I'd fibbed about it shipped on time, neural net tweaks earning me a bump to lead dev. Team leads don't chase ghosts, they build empires. My inbox promotions not please. Weekends freed up for hikes, solo now but sharper. No schedules synced to her whims. Just trails podcasts on asset protection. Ironic homework that stuck. The house stood firmer too. Realtor buddy ran fresh comps, 290,000 now market tick up. No liens, no shadows. I even tackled that quartz counter, she side-eyed sealed it. Proper added a pull-out shelf for gadgets. Small wins, but they compound. Like interest on a nest egg, you guard fear. Dating on hold, not bitter strategic. Forums echoed it, post-scam audit the pattern. Red flags I'd glossed, now neon. Women at the climbing gym nodded hellos no rush. One barista mid-20s tattooed circuits on her forearm. Swapped code war stories over lattes. You debug like a surgeon, she said. Laughed, felt light, no deeds demanded, just shared puzzles. Split-screen life, if you picture it. My side, warm tones, steady climb. Hers I'd catch glimpses, not stalking public trails like LinkedIn ghosts and tag-alongs in group chats. Brianna's profile frozen at engaged, but the post's crumbling facade. She'd crashed at her parents' first Raymond's mansion, but the welcome wore thin fast. His firm's press release hit week 2, leadership restructure. Translation partners bailed after the clip went nuclear. 200,000 views dissected in Reddit threads. Gold digger blueprint 101. Lenders pulled lines. Projects stalled. He blamed her per the leaks. Ruined my name. One email chain floated. Elaine Botox couldn't mask the lines. Country Club blacklisted them both, whispers louder than slides. Brianna pivoted to influencer grind, but the algorithm turned. Sponsored posts ghosted. That makeup collab canceled mid-flight. Followers dipped from 15,000 to 4-core squads scattered like roaches at dawn. Her stories filtered sunsets from a rented studio caption screaming new chapter, stronger. But the debt it snowballed. Wedding vendors sued for 12,000. Her dress resold on eBay for pennies. Trevor's loans called in with interest. 50 grand cut, now a lien on her credit dipping below 600. Trevor fared worse. Wife filed day 3 irreconcilables. But the affair footage sealed alimony hikes. Firm booted him ethics breach. Solo practice clients smelled scandal booked elsewhere. Last I heard, he Ubered nights crashing on couches that weren't his. One tag him at a dive bar, slurring toasts to bad bets. Poetic lawyer schooled in leverage, now leveraged out. They tried linking up post-fall. Texts leaked in a podcast, deep dive her to him. We can rebuild. My dad's softening. His reply, too hot. Cops sniffing fraud. Feds not yet, but title tampering pings IRS radars. State AG opened a file, public record, easy pull. No charges dropped, but the chill permanent. My phone stayed quiet mostly. Work pings, buddy check-ins. Then month 2, her number blocked, but spoofed through a new app. Julian, coffee talk, deleted unread. Week later, voicemail voice cracked like thin ice. I messed up. Therapy now, please. Archive. Evidence always. But the finale pinged last week. Late night code crunch winding down. Her text unblocked for the log. Saw your promo. Proud. Can we salvage for closure? Closure. Like a transaction she could ledger. I stared at the screen, deck light pooling on the counter. Typed. Slow, deliberate. Brianna. Closure's in the rear view. House secure, life upgraded. Wish you debugged sooner. Peace. Sent. Blocked permanent. No rage. Just release like hitting compile on a clean bill. Her side radio, silence after. Rumors swirled back to marketing gigs, entry-level NDA stamp. Trevor vanished to a cousin's in Ohio, law license limbo. Raymond downsized the mansion, irony thick, flipping his own portfolio for scraps. Me upgraded the deck with solar lights. Hosted a barbecue work crew that barista chatting circuits till stars out. Laughter real, no scripts. Folks would have approved dad's nod on the grill, mom's thrift in the seating. Foundations hold when you vet the footings. It's not schadenfreude, it's symmetry. She chased shine, got shadows. I guarded core, built brighter. Lesson audit, early deeds, hearts, all of it. Prenup stats, 80% shield and no-fault splits. Skip it like me, pre-PI exposed, now armored. Life's no rom-com. It's code inputs, shape outputs. Hers glitched on greed, mine optimized for forward, and damn it runs smooth. If you're grinding similar spot, the flags log the proofs. Quiet strategists win the long game, not with noise, with net. As the last embers of that mess faded into the rear view, her texts silenced Raymond's empire. A cautionary tale in trade rags, I found myself on the deck one crisp fall evening. Solar lights flickering on like hesitant stars, coffee steaming in a mug that didn't match her. The house breathed easy now. No echoes of slammed doors or probing questions over takeout. Just the creak of wood I'd planned myself holding steady underfoot. I leaned on the rail, staring out at the yard. Grass needed a trim, but not tonight. Tonight was for unpacking the weight. Not the deed papers crisp in my safe. The real cargo, what it all cost. And what it bought. That night at the club, it wasn't about the slides or the gasps. It was the line in the sand. Brianna didn't just eye my equity, she tested my spine, pushed for the deed like it was a prenup in reverse, a vow of surrender wrapped in silk. Trust me, she'd coo. Trust. The word she'd twisted into a Trojan horse. And me, I handed her the rope, watched her knot it tight around her own neck. But hindsight's a debugger, ruthless in its traces. I replayed the flags, her perks, that screamed side hustles, Trevor's consults, laced with late-night timestamps. Red alerts I'd filed under overthinking. Love does that, patches the cracks till the foundation shifts. Stats from those forums, 80% of asset grabs like hers succeed on silence. The mark stays quiet, signs the dotted line, wakes up have. I almost let romantic rewrite my net worth. The PI run, $3,000 well spent. Not revenge fuel, but firewall code. Timestamped trails, email chains, ironclad in a no-fault state where irreconcilables swallow homes whole. Legal tip for you grinding similar, always chain custody. Screenshots, hearsay, but a sworn affidavit from a licensed sleuth that's exhibit a slamming doors on countersuit. Fraud filings hit 60% conviction when documented early. I documented quietly. Let her smugness compile the errors. And the party, poetic checkmate. Her stage, her spotlight turned tribunal. No fists, no fury. Just facts beaming brighter than her ring. Raymond's purple rage, his own blueprint backfiring, co-signing a con to secure his girl developers live on clean books. One whiff of wire fraud and bonds dry up. His firm's restructure code for partners fleeing the sinking ship. Elaine's pearls scattering symbolic, her polished world unstrung. Brianna's fall, swift as a market crash. Followers to ghost, gigs to entry-level grind. Therapy pings and new chapter posts. Band-aids on a breached vault. Trevor Limbo lawyer Uber shifts funding, alimony spikes. Karma's not thunderbolts. It's compound interest on bad bets, debts accruing in courts. Chats, credit dip. Me upgraded OS. Promo locked deck expanded that barista's number in my phone. Not chased, but open. Hikes solo feel like solos now, not placeholders. Folks' lessons echoed louder post-crash, dad's compound math. Mom's values in the bill. This house, not bricks. It's the proof I vetted, the footings, logic, over longing, evidence over echo. What I guarded wasn't mortar or quartz. It was the future night's unscripted equity unshared with snakes. Fam gia dignity in the old tongue doesn't bend for trust me whispers. It stands Stands like this rail weathered but unyielding. Lesson etched now, audit early. Deeds, hearts, all of it. Prenups aren't cold. They're contracts like code reviews before merge. Skip 'em, you're the beta tester for someone else's exploit. Spot the glitches, the perks that probe your balance, the buddies with lingering hands. Log 'em, PI if it pings. Silence as shield, not surrender. Life post checkmate cleaner runs. No drama debits, just steady credits. That barista circuit's tattoo, and all we're grabbing code trivia next week. No deeds on the menu, just puzzles shared. If you're out there mid-grind feeling the shift underfoot, pause. Debug. Trusts earned in actions, not alibis. Build your foundation tight. The rest, let it compile without you. And yeah, peace tastes like black coffee at dusk. Strong, uncomplicated, yours. Screen fades to long shot me at the window. City lights blurring soft. Text overlays, slow, audit early. Build smart. Checkmate awaits. Ambient hush lingers, words hanging heavy.